Hello everyone. Welcome to our Open Access webinar. Thank you for joining us today. I am Navanithan. In today's session, we will begin with an introduction given by Rinki covering the basics of open access, journal publishing types, and Elsevier pricing and fee waiver policies. Over to you, Rinki.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you're joining. I'm Rinki, and I will be taking you through the basic concepts of open access and the different publishing models that are offered by Elsevier. So let us start with what exactly is open access. I'm sure most of you would know, but just in case, so open access is the free and permanent access to scholarly research, and Elsevier being one of the fastest growing open access publishers, we have nearly 2,900 journals that enable open access publishing, with of which more than 800 are full open access journals. So what is our promise to authors? Elsevier is committed to serving our stakeholders' needs, and as part of this, we actively support open access to research. The choice that we give to our authors is by offering the Gold Open Access and Green Open Access publishing models. Under the Gold Open Access model, the final version of an article is immediately accessible to everyone, while under the Green Open Access, the research that is published under the subscription model is made openly available after an embargo period. Now, when our authors choose one of these publishing models, we guarantee a seamless publishing experience through our online author communication system, which we refer to as OAKS. The author will be presented with the lowest possible article publishing charge, considering the existing agreements or any other discounts for which the authors might be eligible. Now, moving on to the Gold Open Access option in detail. So under the Gold Open Access option, the individuals, funders, or institutions pay an article publishing charge to cover the cost of publishing. And these articles can be published either in full open access journals or in hybrid journals. As you would know, in hybrid journals, we do have the option of publishing both as open access and subscription articles. So when an article publishing charge is paid to cover the cost of publishing, it ensures the articles are made immediately and permanently available to the readers, and they do not have to pay to access the articles. Now, when the article is made open access, authors have the option to choose from a Creative Commons end user license, which defines the permitted use of the articles. So these are the different characteristics of the Gold Open Access publishing options. And then we also have the subscription option, where there is no article publishing charge for the authors because the cost of publishing is covered by the institutional and individual subscribers who pay to receive access. However, we do have a Green Open Access option, which is basically a peer-reviewed version or the accepted article that can be posted by the author in a repository. And that happens after an embargo period, after which the readers can access it freely. And the embargo period varies with each journal. Now, the overview of the process. So when the author is submitting to Elsevier, they are requested to fill in the affiliation details of all the co-authors of the articles. Now, in full open access journals, the billing details are also requested because there is an article publishing charge involved. And once the author based on the affiliation details that are input by the author during submission, author would be presented with the publishing options in the EM or the Editorial Manager submission site based on the affiliation. So if there are any institutional agreements that would be presented during the submission process itself. And during after the article is accepted and moves to the production system, author would receive a link to complete or go through the publishing journey through our open access communication system or the OAK system to confirm the billing details and the affiliation details that were input during the submission process. So author completes the author journey in the OAK system, and depending on what publishing option is chosen, so if it's subscription option that was chosen by the author, which would be free of cost. If it's open access, then accordingly an invoice is generated. Now, in terms of fee waivers to support our researchers, so our goal is always to bridge the digital research divide and ensure that publishing in open access journal is accessible to authors in developing countries. So as part of this, we have the Research for Life program, which ensures APC waivers are automatically applied to articles in gold open access journals for where all the author groups are based in a country eligible as part of the Research for Life program. So there are Group A and Group B list, and we would also be sharing the links of these programs, which would help you in understanding which countries would be eligible for full waiver and which countries would be getting a 50% discount. Our waiving policy, however, does not apply to hybrid journals because authors do have an option in hybrid journals to publish under the subscription model at no cost. So there is a green open access option available in subscription journals, which is why the waiving policy is applicable only for gold open access journals. This is a pictorial flow of the open access customer journey. So Elsevier has publishing agreements with multiple institutions, and every institution would have an open access administrator to manage the agreements that come through the Elsevier Open Access Management portal. So when an author submits their research paper and when it is accepted, the author is prompted to visit the OAK system to choose their publishing option. So if it's subscription, there would not be any open access fee, and they would continue their journey and complete the publishing journey. However, if the author is choosing an open access publishing model, then the system would check whether the author is affiliated to an institution which has an open access agreement with Elsevier. If the author is not affiliated, then they would be shown the full article publishing charge, and the invoice would be generated, and author would have to make the payment and complete after choosing the license. But if the author is affiliated to an institution which has a publishing agreement with Elsevier, then the author will be informed that the institution will be asked to cover their article processing charge. So a validation request is sent to the open access administrator at the institution, who would validate the affiliation and then inform. So if the institutional APC payment is accepted, then this will be informed to the author, and the institution would cover the APC. However, if the validation is denied or rejected by the open access administrator, then the author would be informed that they would be responsible for paying the APC. This is a workflow that is followed during the publishing journey post acceptance.